Hello my eclectic souls, my name is Adrianna and I'd love to welcome you back today. If you have not already, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate all the time that you are able to spend with me here. Today's video we are going to actually sew a vintage inspired pencil skirt. And the reason I call this vintage inspired is the pattern of the fabric that we're actually using today. You can go ahead and use whatever fabric you like because you're making the skirt for you and nobody else, right? So if you don't like long skirts, go ahead and shorten it. You just keep the curvature of your hips when we get to that part and just keep it to the length that you want. This is something I think is an easy way to have long or short skirts. You can pick or choose whatever you'd like. So I hope you guys enjoy the video ahead and have a wonderful day.
There is plenty inspiration around us. This is my first time making a pencil skirt, so why not use one that you have as a stencil? So looking at the structure of this skirt, it has two panels in the back connected by the zipper seam there, and then you have a one panel in the front. And it's lined. I definitely loved lined garments, so mine will definitely have lining. If you don't have lining, maybe you can just get 4 yards of your fabric and just double line the main fabric. That would work as well. And here we have a little peekaboo slip that we're going to go ahead and add onto it. Now you go ahead and lay that item onto your main fabric and kind of gauge how much of the fabric you're going to need to use. I do have my main fabric double layered at the moment, and I'm going to go ahead and create 2 panels to go ahead and get me started. I did pin the lining and main skirt down just so that it wouldn't really wiggle. As you can see, the lining of that skirt is a little loose. Here I took my measurements for my waist, hips, and around my knees and divided it by 2 because we are separating the front and the back, so you do need to divide those into that front and back measurement. Right now I was just going ahead and making sure I have enough of the main fabric behind it. Pinning the width all the way down. Followed by the length of the skirt. I really like the length of this skirt, but it actually looks like my skirt at the end was longer or right below my knees instead of over like this one. So go ahead and cut those panels out. I love plaid fabric like this because let me tell you, the lines make sure that you stay on track rather than wiggly squiggly. Now that you have that, you can go ahead and separate both panels and work with just one. I will be working on the front panel first, just shaping the main fabric there, adding a little bit more room in the hips, but a narrow around the knees. That's kind of the style I like. You can see the shape is there a little bit, but when we stitch them together, you'll see it pull a little bit more together. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to the back panel. With the back panel, we're going to go ahead and split it into 2 panels, just like our stencil skirt. Using the front panel, you'll want to go ahead and add the hip curve to each of these panels, leaving the center straight. We didn't just cut out 2 of the front panels just because we need a little bit extra fabric where the zipper connects. So it's going to hide away and add room for that slit in the back. Now that we have our 3 panels, we're going to go ahead and cut out the lining fabric. Once you've got the lining fabric, you can go ahead and connect equal parts, right sides together, and sew the hip seams. Once you've sewn it together, clean up the edges, and now we're going to go ahead and connect the 2 panels. Wrong sides together, as you want the nice part of the lining touching your skin and the nice part of the main fabric out for the world to see. Doing so, you want to make sure the lining seam stitch and the main stitch are overlapping just like this. And then you'll go ahead and sew them right down that portion. At this time, we will then be able to close the back side of the skirt where the zipper is. For this, I folded inward the lining and the main fabric separately, then setting them on top of one another like this. The portion we are on now, right here, is the mark for the peekaboo slip, or slit. As you can see here, it's open, but once it gets to the connected portion, it overlaps. So it will securely and neatly be clean inside. That's kind of what I was going for. As you can see, you cannot see the main fabric on the inside. You can only see the lining. And once you move upward towards the zipper area, you'll want to make sure you are overlapping the fabrics, keeping, say, left side, right side over, left side over, right side over. And because we are using an invisible zipper, you want to make sure you're leaving a tad bit more fabric at the top in order for it to cover the zipper fully. Now that the final stitching has been completed, you can see how clean it looks from the inside to the outside. Of course, there are some spots that became a little tricky, just like this, right by the zipper area. I'm not a pro at that yet, but one day I will get there. We will get there together. Flipping it inside out, you can see the exterior as well. And remember to iron down anything that you stitch or are done sewing. This will just go ahead and make it look a lot neater and kind of hold the stitch in place. Now to do the hem, all you need to do is go ahead and fold it over. I double folded it over, if that makes sense, for just a simple hem. And again, iron this portion down. And lastly, we have the waistband. You can go ahead and make this as thick as you wish. I did make it very high-waisted for myself, so I'm only going to make about a 2.5 inch waistband. And you'll want just the width that you'd like and then your waist measurement. Mine's about 33, so I left 34 for at least some seam allowance. Then I went ahead and used some extra lining fabric and made it slightly smaller than the main fabric. This is just adding a little bit more of density around the waistline. I know there's products to use make it a little bit more stiff, but I don't know the names of them and I've never used them, so this is just what I'm going to go ahead and do that works for me. You'll then want to begin folding the item over, and it's a lot easier if you take this to the ironing board because then it definitely holds it down, especially when I did the little seams at the very edges, as you can see there. I last minute realized I had to add 2 darts in the back of the skirt as my waist seems to have shrunk. Yay, but the holidays are here, so we know it's not gonna last. Now you'll just want to go ahead and attach the zipper with pins prior to sewing it down. And last, just go ahead and sew it completely down. And ironing, I slightly had a little bit of the fold over, but it's not a huge issue. I do need to go ahead and add some snaps there.